Well, pant. That's called shortage of breath. Don't ask why. I've been a bit foggy and groggy for the last few days, but fortunately I seem to be recovering now. A bit short of breath and etc. But we're carrying on regardless. As they say, the show must go on, especially as we've had 4 or 5 days to prepare or
Mm.
recover in my case. Okay, so my name is Mal Burns. If you don't know that, I'm joined in the studio here by my colleague James Atloud. James tends to fiddle with all the audio and video bits of this while I do all the gabbing.
Fiddle,
That's about
fiddle.
it. Hello, James.
Hello. Welcome, Mal.
Yeah. So, that was a bit odd.
That was
Got
my
a mess.
sad violin. I was
Lovely
fiddling.
stuff. Right, you were fiddling. Yeah. So, James is renowned for his ability to sit on and in and everywhere,
Yes,
but
yes.
also to fiddle with knobs to an extreme extent. I'm okay. I'm accepting something from somebody here. That's the problem. Being in world, people send you things. Oh, it doesn't. No, it hasn't accepted now. Who knows? Glitches galore. But it is the season. It is the season. Right. Yeah. So I'm blank. I'm blank again. Where to start? Where to start? Well, actually, it's been quite a quiet fortnight. We weren't here last week because of a conference. And looking back on all my posts and things over the last fortnight, I realised there's actually precious little, at least in sort of general posts. But it is, as I say, 'tis the season. It's getting quiet, and the conference season, which has been, is now over. So I think it's going to be pretty down into holiday mode. I think until the beginning of January. We will be here next week with the well, I think we will anyway. Will depend on what is available if there is any news. I mean, you've got to remember it will be the eve of the Day of X, and whether we really want to celebrate Elon Musk, I don't know. But the week after that will be the eve of the new year, and we will be here for a party then too. So just go figure. Just go figure. No, none of this nonsensical holiday stuff for us. Ah, it's an excuse to come on here with a party instead of get miserable with relatives and parties, which seems to be the common theme. It was,
Mm-hmm.
oh God, I've got to go party with the family, or I've got to go to my husband's family, or my wife's family, or the kids and their families. Can't I just shut down for the holiday? No, no chance. Go out and buy 1,000 presents. It's going to cost you. You know, you've got the idea. Everybody knows. Why we bother? Or why you not bother? I don't know. I don't. I don't. I'm proud of that fact. Don't celebrate it at all. Right. Um, right. Okay. I'm going to move to the first screen I've got up. This is a bit of an odd. The preview of the videos don't seem to be available here, and if I click watch on YouTube, it doesn't work either. So God knows what's happening with it's not just Safari, it seems to be all my browsers. The links don't work anymore. It's like there's an invisible layer blocking me from doing anything. So but this was quite interesting. It was quite big in its way. There's a band called Kiss. Those of you of my age probably prefer not to remember them, and those of middle age may remember them, and those of a young age probably don't remember them at all. And um, you can small mercies if you don't remember them anyway. They did actually have a comic book out published by Marvel back in the
Oh
day.
yeah.
That would have been '70s, I know, because I was working on stuff at the time, and they it was a glossy sort of magazine size special, and they they all the band members contributed their own blood to the red ink. So every copy of that sold had genuine Kiss blood on the page. If you see what I mean, very much diluted down on each individual copy. I'm pretty sure, but that was the big thing at the time. Buy some Kiss blood at the same time. But that was their comic book characters, not exactly what you call avatars. But their final concert, their final RL concert, they broadcast simultaneously about a week ago or something, as the band organic cells on stage, and as digital avatars, which they now claim are immortal. And although they won't be doing any gigs in the real in future, they do have plans to keep themselves going as fully virtual. So all kind of interesting. Although that video doesn't show, they've had a really long tour, the biggest glam rock band of all time. Well, I suppose the old glam of fashion, but they're just really bad example of metal, in my opinion. Right, they're playing the end of the road tour, but obviously they haven't taken a lesson, and they've been at the end of the road for the last 4 years. Says the reviewer. Fair enough. Anyway, they played Madison Square Garden as their final gig, and at the end of the show, they finished playing their last song and disappeared in a hail of fire and smoke. And when the smoke faded away, the lights went down, and on the screen behind the stage, a camera zoomed across a spooky lake on some fantastic planet towards silhouettes of four figures, and these were the new digital avatars of Kiss in what must be what they suppose is their final form. And somebody called Paul Stanley shouts, "Kiss Army, your love, your power has made us immortal. The new Kiss era starts now." Oh yeah. Sounds blonde enough to me, doesn't it, really? Anyway, I mean, I'm not really excited about this in any particular way. Their show, their avatars, basically, and the most of concerts are all powered by Industrial Light and Magic, which, of course, is George Lucas's tech side. So either they've had enough money to pay George Lucas, or they've got, or maybe George Lucas is a half fan. I don't know. Right, my generation, just about. Okay, so that's all there is to see. There's a link here. You can watch a 22-minute conversation about their transition to avatars if you really want. So plenty to follow up there. Okay, so of somewhat more interest in this choice of fortnights is our good friend Philip Rosedale, who of course was the founder of Second Life. And this is a really pertinent thing. I've had thoughts about this for a long while. He's written here this week, anyway, about tragedy of the web commons. And Google made money at the price of adding noise to the web, you know, but he's not just going into Google here. Links between web pages were the perfect example of the public commons. We all benefit from them, and many of us contribute to an enormous collection of public links that connect us together. We follow links, etc., and find additional information the way we want. Information we may want. The links are what made the web succeed and grow exponentially by adding a network effect that made all the pages more valuable to all of us as we connected more and more pages to each other. And then came Google, etc., and magnified the utilities. And well, in my case, I would say you're not in-house search engine optimization, but you had other companies into play like Facebook that were creating what we now call social networking. It was the end of the information web, and the social web. It was just backfired, because you couldn't trust people. When they were just sharing links, it was sort of fairly innocuous. But when social web came along, everybody's opinion started to count. And on the assumption that there are 99 people in the world who are dumber than the better 1%, then it's actually suddenly you find it's the dumb conversation that is predominant. This is democracy at work, of course. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, if you want people to vote for you and you've got something intelligent to say and whatever, it's a bit disappointing that you don't get the dumb 99% being interested in you, because only the 1% will be interested in you, if you see what I mean. This is not my day, is it? I mean, I'm going down a rabbit hole before I've even started. Anyway, the commons, the tragedy of the web commons is his theme here, and he's particularly focusing on Google, but talking about managing commonly shared resources, etc., etc. Don't know. He didn't really come up with solutions here. This is one of his blogs where this is the state of art now, And I'm writing about this now because addressing big problems like climate change and AI will require similar strategies. We have to collectively define precious resources like coral reefs, or in the case of AI, our right not to be manipulated, and sanctions, violations, etc. So making great parallels from what we're momentarily aware of and what we need to do about resources, information resources, and the challenges that face us today. Um, I'm really not informed today, am I? I'm getting all my explanations mixed up. I'm just going to carry down the list here.
Yeah.
Okay, spatial beats. Charlie thinks this was the one from this week. I haven't gone back 2 weeks for this. There's no point. This is early in the week. This is his roundup of various things going on. The lead Grok launches to X Premium. Charlie Fink covers pretty much everything, including the Bad Boys. Sorry,
Yep.
did I say Bad Boys?
I think you did.
Possibly.
Right.
No, I didn't say anything like that. I'm sure of it. So yeah, James and I have been teasing each other a bit before I came out about my ability to convert my voice into something else completely when appropriate. Okay, let's just move down the list. Runaway partners with Getty. Kiss is retiring again, but they're being replaced. Well, we know about that. We just covered it.
Yep.
The first AI-produced documentary called The Wizard of AI is a 20-minute video essay. And so what? Hardware is hard, so Ray Neo Air 2 smart glasses, the ultimate mobile display, the gift of extended realities, promoting holiday season purchases here by the look of it. Looking Glass Go, a pocket-sized holographic display, but it's on Kickstarter and may ship in January. 3D without glasses is a thing, but they said that about 3D TV, and look what happened to it. Well, what did happen to it? I don't
Well,
know.
it had glasses for one thing.
Yeah, actually, that was there was a glasses version of 3D
Right.
TV too. Yes, there was so
Oh,
many
for the
different
longest
versions.
time. Right.
Yeah, there was the original 3D videos were two different glasses that brought certain things more forward. But there was actually an attempt to do it, which I think it's a British school did it, and they tried marketing it, and it was immediately bought up, I think, by the Ministry of Defence or somebody, and never heard of again. But everybody who's seen it thought it was fine. You didn't need glasses, you didn't need everything. You just had a TV set, which I got a feeling back in the day may even have been cathode ray days. But it had an extra filmy sort of layer on top of it, the screen that is, not you, and it converted the images into sort of dimensional separation, so to speak. But some stuff gets lost as history takes course.
Right.
Weekend Excerpt podcast is advertising that as well, so there you go. Right, also midweek this week is our good friend Tony Vitillo, and otherwise known as the Scarred Ghost. I seem to have missed that this week. Okay. Tony Vitillo, known as the Scarred Ghost, you'll find him at scarredghost.com. SKARREDGHOST.com. Spatial Beats, by the way, was at arinsider.co, and Philip Rosedale was at philiprosedale.substack.com. And the article on KISS was at theverge.com, which actually just shows you how absent-minded I am today. Okay, so catching up here, we are on the XR week peak, which is the way... there we are. That's the way we want it to look. Yep. Okay. And from the Skull Ghost. So there he is, wearing yet another piece of headwear. Not quite sure what that is he's got on, actually. It's a sort of economically sized glasses, but it's got some gadgets on above wider lens. So I even back in the day of Google's Go, or whatever it was called, I never liked this, because until you actually put them on, what you don't realise is that, as well as being visually non-symmetrical, which always upsets me for some reason, it also adds weight to one side of the glasses. So I don't know if you've ever sort of bought a pair of sunglasses, off the shelf, and then you put them on, and then you look at yourself in the mirror, and one's lower than the other. They don't quite rest horizontally on your nose. Well, if you can imagine that one of the lenses has got a weight on it, and that's severely tilting the glasses, one side is way up and the one with the weight on is way down. It's not a good look, but it's not actually a very good practical solution to these things either. So, yeah. What is going on my machine? Right, I've now lost both screen leap things on my window. I might have to reboot my Windows machine once the show's over. Never mind. Okay, so Christmas is getting closer. He says he's got to buy gifts. Does he really? You should take my hint and don't. Upload a showcase where we upload that's a cool gaming showcase. That's really about it. Other relevant news. The industrial metaverse is still the future. We did have that blog a couple of weeks ago, I think. Common bad consensus about the M word. Well, yeah. For many, the metaverse is not dead, but actually some people are insisting on its value, and that's good news because these articles crack the common bad consensus about the M word. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, we know Finland's building its own metaverse, but then again, its definition, anybody who's building their own metaverse or promoting their own metaverse is not a metaverse, because the metaverse is an overwhelming concept that far, outruns any individual thing that might be some company or even country or even continent or block, calling itself a metaverse. It's absolutely rubbish. There's probably only one real world place that actually has good reason to be calling itself a metaverse, and even though it's not really true, that country that we keep hearing about at COP conferences, it's a long strip of islands somewhere in the Pacific, I think, and it's all the inhabitants. They're like a country, like a minor version of Hawaii, but they're just sitting on these narrow strips of land, and every day the sea is eroding, and in 20 years' time the whole country will have sunk. They were actually one of the first countries in the world to think that they must have a virtual equivalent, but of course what they're really after is somewhere they can relocate, not as guests of some host nation. There aren't many of them, but they want their own nation back, and they want to have somewhere they can go, and of course they have a problem these days. Gone are the days when a country is not surviving and they could get on boats and go and find a new place to go. There just are no new places to go anymore, anywhere that isn't actually already occupied in terms of human colonies is occupied by corporations who own the mineral rights and everything else. So yeah, they've got a problem. Anyway, but just another example of how depressing the world is. This is not. It's not really a good holiday program. This one. We're only 10 minutes. No, we're 20 minutes in, and I've already depressed the entire audience.
The entire internet, yeah.
Oh dear. Okay. News about VR chat, paid subscriptions, anniversary to discover fashion in digital worlds, etc., etc., etc. Quite a lot there. So Tony is always a very good person to read. He obviously had this on Monday or Tuesday last week. If you go to scarghost.com tomorrow or the next day, you'll find an absolutely new edition. And if you scroll back, you can even find another edition from the week before, which because we weren't here last week, we didn't cover. And my final one, I told you there weren't many this week.
Oh, yeah.
This is actually to New World Notes, which is Hamlet Orr's blog. He sort of specialises in virtual worlds a bit. He used to be an embedded journalist at Second Life back in the days when they were sort of seriously thought they needed an embedded journalist. Don't know. I often wonder about this. He probably did a good job with Second Life, and he's got quite a fan club, as it were. But you've got to remember, if you're an embedded journalist covering, I don't know, a supermarket chain, and you're paid for by the supermarket chain, then you're not going to be able to give fair play to another supermarket. if you see what I mean. And it's sort of, despite being in Blue Mars and various other places, it's always sort of, and Science Base too. I mean, he makes guest appearances and does guest articles, but it's still very much mixed up in the world of Second Life. But I think, okay, I actually have this to show later, which would be a bit better, I think. It's a sneak peek of the XR wing of something called Virtual World Museum. He's a sponsor. Somewhat biased. It's pretty cool how the team lead, Julian Reyes, is able to seamlessly jump through one virtual world into the next with no loading screen or login page. We've seen this happen with XR, basically, because XR, extended reality, most of the web worlds there are based on the web. And of course, you may argue that there's no interoperability between different virtual worlds and whatever, and different platforms. But you've got to remember, these XR platforms, their baseline platform is HTML and JavaScript and all the stuff that runs on HTML to make the virtual world be built. It's like a really elaborate version of the old VRML. And because of that web layer is something they all share, that layer can be used to intercommunicate between the two. So there's a lot of, in terms of interoperability of spaces, it's almost certainly one's based on the web that would lead the way, but they may not have the fidelity or richness that we get from individual clients. Right, and leaping through one virtual world while already in another one, etc. They made it possible with something called Arrival Space, an XR platform Julian is working on for the next bit of the museum. Anyway, we've got something to share later, and I think it actually is this clip. It's quite short, but it features the guy there talking with Hamlet as well. Right, so let me move to... that is actually my last one, okay? So let me move here to our embedded feeds for the week. We've got F Reality Podcast, which was this morning. Nothing particularly great there. Quite a long program, and if you're into gaming and stuff, there's quite a lot of
people
there.
fell off. Lemmings went off the cliff and aren't around anymore. Gave up, went back to flat gaming.
This is just predicting the next words in the sequence. They don't generate.
Well, 3.5 hours is too much to even fast forward, I'm afraid. But yeah, most of it seemed to be on gaming this week. Before that, these links all go to my Twitter feeds and whatever, but they're on a separate feed at MetaWorld at mastodon.social. How to create cultural experiences in XR. This is a talk at YouTube. Great fun indeed. This is half an hour. And XR Magazine. I've actually been publishing quite a lot recently. I mean, they seem to have, it's almost like they're moving into video.
Welcome to the XR Magazine podcast. Dive deep with us into the mesmerizing world of immersive tech, where we bring you conversations with...
Don't be distracted by the fact that this opens as them sitting on a table at the conference. This is just their way of introducing, and now let's look at our next film kind of thing. So all the films are introduced on stage at the conference, but that's not where they are, if you see what I mean.
Today we're speaking with Annabelle Bacano, who is a violinist, cultural manager, and entrepreneur in the field of arts and technology. About this episode, I can't wait to begin. Let's do it. Thank you so much, Annabelle, for being here today. I'm super excited. We all want to hear about Atopia, that space, and all the amazing things that you're doing. How is it?
Right, but again, one can't play all this for you. This, I would point out, is only half an hour, 27 minutes, so it's quite easy to watch. If you're watching these from my feeds, by the way, all you actually have to do is click play, and they'll play in situ. Or you can actually click on the YouTube button here, and it will take you to YouTube, where you can watch them there and also comment with the authors, etc. via the chat. Although you don't tend to get many people commenting in chat, except when the things are actually live. But there you go. Right, okay. The one before this, interestingly, no, it is Charlie Fink, but it's not Charlie Fink. This is this is the same people. Basically, this time round, she's interviewing Charlie Fink. 42 Minutes, XR Magazine, and again they're introducing it from their stage, and then they get round to Charlie
Fink is the
himself.
author of the critically acclaimed AI-enabled books. Exactly. I can't wait to begin.
Let me start. In college, I was a writing major, but I switched to filmmaking. I didn't even know filmmaking was a subject you could study in college, because this was.
A little bit of history of Charlie there, but again, I'm not here to play at you. It's simply just go to the code and click play for yourself in your own time. Another one in the same series here is creating XR experiences for seniors using XR. What else? Understanding digital twins in XR with somebody called Elizabeth Barron. These are all. It's a great week for video stuff, I must say. I mean, there's dearth of interest in anything else, but lots of stuff here. On Tuesday we had the VR Crewcast, which as usual features a whole bunch of the regular VR podcasts. You've got the Between Realities crowd there, two of them, and who else have we got? Well, a load of people without signs by them, so I can't tell who they are. Between Realities guys are clever; they got their own signage, so you can't mistake them. Anyway, good talk, nearly 2 hours, of course. So they're saying December is looking amazing for virtual reality, but again, you know, there's they tend to. They're not always fixated on Helmet Land, but you know, December is a sort of product thing, and the product launches can be apps that you actually use in VR or devices which you use for VR, and many different levels. There's very little coverage here of anything as boring as a 2D screen, but they're good to listen to. They're good to listen to, these guys, to know what they're doing. Right. Okay, virtual wear and the benefits of virtual reality as a service solutions. This is the VR AR people, Dedmond curating. I don't know, his name is Curator and he curates. It's rather odd. Yeah, it's just a general interview. He introduces it. And yeah, CMO of Virtual Wear is his guest. This one's actually only about 17 minutes long, so if you're looking for something you need to sort of fit in quickly, that could be it. Right. Oh, what did go on? Yeah. I don't know. Okay, this is a film that before OSCC last week, they were actually showing this. It's an interesting graphic. They've got a new version every year. Basically, they follow all the logins and logouts and movements of code of everything from the devs that are building OpenSim. And I won't say Ubit, the chap called Ubit is a dev there. I won't say it's the lead, but when you actually look at the film, you'll notice that the family tree sort of thing is going in and out and all over the place. But the only really visible thing I see is Ubit hopping from every part of the tree to every other part of the tree at a regular interval, which accidentally shows him probably as the busiest person there. I mean, there may be people who are busying themselves on a branch and really just never move out of the branch and don't really show up on the schematic. But I mean, I kind of find it looking funny, you know, what's going on here? Oh, that's Ubit. Oh, he's jumped there. Anything else going on? Oh, it's Hubert again. He's jumped there. It's quite amusing to. It's quite amusing to look at. I don't know whether the rest of the guys think of it that way, but I do. Anyway, yes. So and James knows all about this because he was filming the whole thing. And now I seem to have gone a bit. Something's gone a bit buggy. Anyway, Sunday 10th of December. That was last Sunday. So I posted that while it was going on.
Was it just last Sunday? Oh my goodness. It seems like months ago.
Exactly. And also, of course, 9th of the 12th. 9th of the 12th. Right, there was of course, this week in XR. Okay, I'm going to go down a bit more. All night Chicago. Um, right. 8th of December, 6th of December. Oh, that was quite good. XR Today's News on predictions. And Weekend XR yet again from the 5th of December. And VR Download was also 5th of December. So this is actually, I think this is the only VR download that has been since we were last here. But
No, there was one last week.
I've got a feeling. I was just going to say. I think I may have started too far down this list and skipped a few.
Okay.
Because I will get to it. So let's see. The 5th, more VR Crewcast and building the open metaverse with the assault systems. That was on the 5th. And there we're back to normality. We're back to this show on the 3rd of December. So I'm going back up to the top of the list. Which is a bit, no, that's from yesterday. Reality, I covered that. All right, this is very odd. Wednesday, 13th of December. Okay, I just need to do a bit of fiddling here. I've got a feeling I know what is wrong. It's not showing all items. Okay, back to today. 16th of the 12th. That sounds like a day or two ago. That's this week's version of the week in XR with Charlie Fink, not Charlie Forbes, as usual, and CEO from Forever VR, for VR Games. There. Sorry, James, you were about to say?
Charlie Forbes.
I was slipping, but I was aware of it.
Yep.
Right. Every Reality Podcaster just did that. Before that, we have the latest big news from in XR. And but this is Desmond, what's his name again? Anyway, go with all the biggest news. That's 40 minutes, this run time on this one. Quite a few.
Is the one without ghostly eyes.
Quite a few.
Everything else they should keep.
Quite a few guests on that one. It's always interesting talk. That's 40 minutes. And I knew something was wrong and it wasn't up to date, right? When I didn't have these ones on it. James knows about these because if he didn't film them, he's at least part of the team that did. I've only posted selected ones on this blog for basically that fit in with my own agenda, so to speak. You can find all the, or nearly all the clips from the conference on the Avacon site on YouTube, and James, I know, is doing quick edits, so there are a few that haven't come yet, but will be with us shortly, I take it, James.
I sure hope so.
Sure hope so. Yeah, there is one where I actually do a voice performance in a little sort of play. It has met with great acclaim, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know my voice was any good, but all of us hate the sound of our own voice, and when I start doing funny voices, I cringe even worse. But nevertheless, it's all in the ear of the beholder, isn't it?
True.
Supposed to be the eye of the beholder. Right. Anyway, this was a very good one. Our friend Kelso did one, which hasn't come up yet. But this is using generative AI to create content for 3D immersive worlds.
That was Sally Cherry. Yeah.
This is Sally Cherry. Is wonderful. Yeah. Rather offbeat conversation here. Right. Who's that bloke then? Who's that bloke? I don't know.
I think he's a voice actor I've heard of.
I don't know, He's a bit sort of familiar. I think that's the guy what once wore a mask, on his television shows. Looked bloody stupid, if you ask me. Although he always said it was COVID, he forgot to take it off. But I think he has done now. But he looks sort of a bit the same. Yeah, I guess it could be. No. Yeah, but of course he's got a guest there. None other, in fact, than wonderful Tish Shoes. I first interviewed her on Crosswells. Well, it wasn't the first interview. It was the last interview I did with her on Crosswells 12 years ago. And we were both watching playing back the old one. And so much had changed and so much hadn't. It was rather odd anyway. So as well as the hour-long interview I had there, we must have spoken about 8 hours in total over the course of that conference weekend, off camera, of course. So, yeah, I thought it was an interesting and well-deserved interview. It's always a gamble for an Open Sim conference when I'm talking about a much greater worldview of what's going on and what's going on in Open Sim. But Tish was very instrumental in the early days of Open Sim, and I and her and a couple of other people, ePredator for one, we actually worked with IBM, who provided a bridge from Second Life to Open Sim in its formative days. And basically, Linden Lab provided us with a venue, and it was specially rigged that we could teleport out of it. And we teleported through IBM servers into Open Sim. In fact, I think the Open Sim servers were actually being hosted by IBM. But it was proof positive that we could jump from world to world. And another time I actually asked on another program, I asked Philip Rosedale, if they were going to pursue this anymore. And at the time, I think he was still CEO at the time, he just said there aren't enough people there. It's not the technology that's the problem, it's the fact there aren't enough people there to be worthwhile. And also, it has always been an unspoken challenge for the idea that Linden Labs, who are a commercial walled garden company, getting involved with a rather anarchic open simulator community, which is pretty huge in its own right. There's a slight disconnect there now, which is they've moved apart in ways that it might never be possible to redress. I still think Linden Labs could open their marketplace to Open Sim. So if you buy something off Linden Labs marketplace with the appropriate permissions, it could be delivered into Open Sim as well. But these are individual things where there could be crossover, not a complete melding of things. But anyway, we only scratched the surface in this talk, but it was very good. Also moving back. Earlier in the week, this is the week, not last week, but the week before, Jon and Lisa talk of all things metaverse. This is Lisa Bernard, and Jon, I think, is from Demystify AI, but they're talking about the M word in general, should we say. I think this, I don't know, it's actually...
is emerging as the next big technology platform.
That's only a 15-minute show, so that's quite interesting. They've got quite a lot of companion ones up there on YouTube, but this was the only one really that was. Well, actually, I think there are a couple more there, but of great relevance to us, so to speak. Right, moving back down. So, yeah, they did come out this week. Okay, so VR download did happen this week as well as the other one I showed a minute ago. This is Meta Mirror Lake support. Could happen Vision Pro launch next month. I think, everybody's talking about Vision Pro launching and whatever, but I suddenly realised that next month is next year.
That's right.
that thing of, well, they'll launch first quarter next year. Well, that's in a week or two's time. So it's amazing how our perceptions sort of change and we realise, oh, that distant future is tomorrow. So
it's a good
anyway,
episode. The first part I think you'd be interested in because David Heaney was quite excited that last month was the highest revenue ever for VR in the UK. He was very excited about that. So that was it was fun to have that talking, and then that release of the Vision Pro coming up sooner than expected. Oh, of course, that was exciting.
Yeah, well, it's easy to get excited that when there's everything coming at once. I think I miss out on some of the excitement being not really keen on Helmet Land.
Right.
There is clearly, if you include that in the spectrum of everything, there is a lot happening there when there isn't necessarily in the 3D.
Well, there's no denying Apple's influence. There's just, you cannot deny that's a force to be considered.
I meant to check. I forgot when I was loading things earlier. I actually meant to check our what on earth we had on the 14th of January last year. But that was our highest grossing show of last year, according to my Google stats.
Oh, okay.
They sent me an email with, what was your stuff.
The news
I
or
have
the, or
no
the
idea
in-world?
what. Yeah, I have no idea what the 14th of January last year was.
Yeah, was that
But
the
it was-
news or the in-world review?
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
That I don't know. Yes, it may be. It's actually the highest grossing viewership for any of our shows on my account. So
Yeah,
to
if
speak.
we get the right guest on in-world review, we get some views. That's for sure.
Yes, this is true. Well, hopefully, now I don't know how many more shows of this there'll be this year, and I think by next year, I really think this program may take a bit of a change, so we do have guests and things to make it more, a bit of a quicker flash through of what's around.
Oh, I may have to ask for a raise.
You may indeed, but you have to work. You have to work Saturdays and Wednesdays too,
That's right.
and no unions.
New unions.
No, I mean, any of them bloody unions here. No,
that's-
look, mate, if you think you'll go join your union to get on this program, you are very much mistaken, you is.
That's rather Musk-like.
Well, of course it is. I'm not. I am the one and only, and I'm not taking that from you or any unionizer or anything else. That is definitely no go in the land of Maltech or the Maliverse.
The Maliverse.
Or the Empire of Mal.
Yep.
Or the universe of Mal. The Maliverse, yes. I am Lord Almighty of the Maliverse. And what I say is no bloody unions, that's what I say. Right, and you can tell this show's going to come to an abrupt halt before too long, can't you?
Yeah.
Right, okay. We went. I think these are the ones we we covered a little bit earlier. I just didn't have the other ones at the top. So that's all the embed stuff that we have from here. So I'm going to get ready to go out because, believe it or not, we are. How about the shortest show ever is just becoming one that's already hit the hour. Okay, very quickly, I'll go to the clips that I had that actually intended to show you. This week's innovation brief sounds like this.
Hello and welcome to the M7 Innovation Brief. I'm your host, Matt Marn. You know the deal. Media tech innovation, 90 seconds. Let's do it. Mountain Dew is watching you. The company is using AI to scan every Twitch live stream to see if there's a Mountain Dew bottle in your shot. If there is, Mountain Dew will send an automated message asking you if you want to participate in the Mountain Dew Raid to get prizes and or a feature on the Twitch homepage and Mountain Dew's channel. Pretty cool. Except when you look at the T's and C's of Big Brother Dew. If you remove the product from your camera's vision, Raid AI will prompt you to put it back. And if you don't, you will be removed from the list. You can guess, to a savvy game audience, what started as an interesting idea is becoming a meme of laughable dystopia. It's been 3 long years, but the results of Epic versus Google are in. The antitrust suit claimed Google created a monopoly on its App Store, and the court agreed. This includes unanimously deciding that Google created a monopoly on app distribution markets and in-app billing, and that Project Hug, a program for mobile game distribution, bribed developers into keeping their games exclusive to the Google Play Store. This is a huge win for Epic, as it notoriously lost its battle with Apple 2 years ago. The judge in the case hasn't decided Epic's winnings yet, but Epic never actually sued for monetary damages. It did it for precedent, and boy did they win. EU may be set to create regulations for how AI is used. The European Union's Artificial Intelligence Act proposes a number of guidelines for AI, including AI companies needing to be transparent about usage in high-impact scenarios, risk assessments, adversarial testing, incident reports, and that AI should never be used when it comes to biometrics as it poses a privacy issue. The rest of the world has been bullish on the push for AI, but lacks the incentive to set safe guidelines for its usage. The EU AI Act isn't set to go into action until 2025, but hopefully it sets a decent standard for the rest of the world. So that's all the time that we have for the M7 Innovation Brief. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week.
No, that's not 2001: A Space Odyssey, but you might be fooled for or the hoo-haing about that. Okay, last one: Lightship and Snapdragon and Spaces. Well, for a program that makes a big noise about not being into helmet wear, you may wonder why the second of those clips featured a helmet. Yeah, it's always a good idea to see watch what's going on. But those last two, the Snapdragon-based ones, I just sound quite interesting because they are not really what I call helmets. They do say like film, genuine helmet wear or whatever, or headset wear. But both of those clips have people wearing glasses. The Snapdragon are actually glasses. They are. I look at them and think, well, yeah, give me one of those, I'll put them on. And oh, look at that cable, it just attaches to my iPhone. It just feels like the right formula. I don't know whether Snapdragon's range of what you can do with their glasses and the machine is as substantial as some other developers, but it feels natural that I could plug my smartphone into those glasses and enjoy everything that seemed to be a conference call, an AI game on the tabletop, or whatever. So anyway, that's just a few of the little things for this week to show off, so to speak. We actually had 2 innovation briefs, but one of them got lost in the business of Fortnite, so we never did get to 248 it would have been, but never mind. Right, okay, so that's it for this week. We are running late on our other show, which I should have known, the foggy nature of me today. Okay, so we're about to close and move to another stage, and we'll be live on this channel on the hour, which actually is going to be about 20 minutes time if we can get up on my screen, which indicates that Microsoft Windows would like to update yet again for the 5th time this week, I believe. And I'm not going to be able to let it because that would mean quitting the virtual world and everything we're doing. But it doesn't, whenever I see that little icon up there, I think, my machine is going to slow down to a crawl.
Yep.
Because whenever Windows is ready to update, it loads stuff in the background ready to give you a fantastic update. And then you get stuck there. And until you reboot your machine, you're not in for a good experience on Windows. Doesn't matter, whatever they say. So, it's the miserable shows week, but we're going to cheer up shortly with our other one. Otherwise, we will be back, I think, same time, same place next week. We will see. There may be nothing to talk about. I mean, if the only subject is X, then You know, you can watch a Mustcast for that, right? But we will see. So I hope you have a good week, everybody, and we will be back whenever we're back. Basically, good to have you here, and it's a wrap for now.